measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls. We create the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women. We can fight. I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. Any society is how it treats its women and girls. One stand still. Your story is my story. Your story is my story. Won't be shamed. Your story is my story. Your story is my story. Story. I told them that they should disregard anyone who demeans or devalues them, and that they should make their voices heard in the world. I told them that they deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And I told them that they should disregard anyone who demeans or devalues them. They should make their voices heard in the world. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. No man in the world.
Are we on? Hello.
Yes, you guys are on.
All right, awesome. Buckle up, Buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. For the first time in the history of our show, we are all remote, and Joe is back at the station running the board for us. Thank you so much, Joe. We really appreciate you.
No problem. Happy to help.
All right. So it's Liz and Donna and Maria. How are you, ladies? We're all remote got our hands in 10 different pots.
Yeah.
Everybody's here. We're all here. And Maria, let's see. This is our first time doing this, so bear with us if we have a few glitches because we did not practice this. Let's see. Donna, you want to fill everybody in on what's going on in the world and what we're going to talk about today, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So it sounds like Maria's saying she can't hear anything. Not sure what's going on her end. But in any event, there's a lot of stuff going on, you guys. We started, Donald Trump is telling Tehran that they better behave. We started new strikes there. We're hearing that, a little over 200,000 people applied for unemployment this week, probably because everyone's used up their weeks and don't have any more. So they're saying Asian markets are down. Those numbers are historic. There's so much going on. Our election is coming up. Our primary election in Florida is coming up. There's lots of stuff going on. I feel like what progressives want is not going to happen, and that we're going to see a lot of losses of perfectly qualified, and I say that with grain of salt, perfectly qualified given the field of existing candidates, right? They're qualified in today's candidate. They would not have been, none of these people would have been qualified to run for office 20 years ago. So here we are. The DSA is making strides all over. Today in Clearwater, there may be a vote to dump Duke. We've covered that. I haven't been able to cover it as much as I'd like because I've been out of town. So I was going to meetings, I was going to dump Duke meetings, going to DSA meetings, and there's a lot of hope that the drive for progressives at the local level, and even, we're looking at mayor's races, congressional races in Denver, mayor's race in DC, mayor's race famously in New York City. So there's a lot going on with progressives. I think the building is happening in some quarters, and other quarters, people are just crying because why don't you like my candidate? So, and we may have Bianca Goolsbee. I know you guys love her. She is slated to come on this morning. I don't see her logged in yet. I will go and find out where she is. Back to you, Liz.
Okay. So I was in the other room trying to get all of our sound working correctly so that we can all hear you and take your questions. If you want to give us a call, 813-439. I always misremember 813. Anyway. I don't remember, or I didn't get to hear everything that Donna said we were going to talk about, but did we cover the Mitch McConnell / Lindsey Graham distraction?
You know what? It is a distraction, and I'm over it.
Okay.
I think it's important. I think it's important to discuss. But I'm only speaking for myself. I have a lot less interest in that foolishment than other folks do, apparently.
Okay.
Well, I think it matters though while we're going into these confirmation hearings, because they were fascinating to say the very least. They were fascinating to say the least.
And
we got to say more, Maria.
They're stealing the whole seat by not having the election.
You have a guy who's nominated for DNI, Clayton, and his confirmation hearings yesterday was asked if Joe Biden was the legitimate winner of the 2020 election. And it took him 8 minutes to say nothing.
Oh, wow.
Nothing. Wow. He said, I'm not going there. This is your national intelligence officer after they raided the supervisor of elections office in Georgia, Tulsi Gabbard. This is the department that did that. Right. So you now have an election denier sitting in that seat waiting to be confirmed for national intelligence. You have a president who apparently is going to get a B12 shot or something and not slur his words long enough to give a speech tonight on election integrity.
Oh, God.
And then you have an attorney general nominee who, when asked by a Republican senator yesterday who he works for, he said he works for Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
Then he said, but I used to, he said, how do you know, the senator said to him, how do you know Donald Trump? And the guys, and then Todd Blanche said, I'm his lawyer.
What?
No, I mean, because now he's acting AG, right? No, I mean, I used to be his lawyer. So I think in context, we were all taught to not be surly and to not say, if we can't say anything nice, we shouldn't say anything at all. But I do think that these two men are extraordinarily consequential to where we are in our politics right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so for that reason, I would not call it a distraction. Just for that reason.
And yeah, because that's 2 Republican votes. Now, the governor in Graham's state appointed his sister to take his spot. But if Mitch McConnell is not a functioning person, which I suspect he's not, lots of people suspect he's not. I hope Bianca can join us because she's very much into the cyber tech and stuff. So she could probably tell us what she thinks of this proof of life photo that is absolutely ridiculous. And everybody is reporting it. And it's like, are you guys like on the payroll?
What I find fascinating, though, is that nobody's vetting it, right? They're taking it like
face value.
And that is infuriating when it comes to a free press, right?
Exactly.
Like,
so
we're just supposed to believe this?
Right. All right. So the phone number is 813-239-9663. And you are listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Let's see. Donna, back to you and your slate. I think Maria and I have hashed that enough to not have to take away from your section. But
well, no, I think that no, I don't have any. I don't have a section really this morning. I got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm all over the place. And I actually couldn't say something earlier because I left my phone in the laundry room on mute. I have AirPods in.
I just want to say one thing because we do have a caller, Mike from Sarasota. But I want to say one thing. I have a pet peeve, and my pet peeve is we are protesting for a moratorium or a cease and desist on these data centers. And we had a victory yesterday here in Palm Beach County.
Oh, congratulations.
But the last thing I need to see from you people are AI generated flyers celebrating that BS. Okay? Can we stop with the AI generated flyers?
Yes.
I mean, the craziest thing for me is seeing them. First of all, you don't have 6 fingers, right? Or 8, and this goes back to the Mitch McConnell picture. But if you're protesting data centers, you should not be using AI generated flyers. That to me is the bane of this election cycle. I'm done with my rant. Mike from Sarasota.
Well, I wanted to add something. I'm sorry about the AI flyer before we go into that. Not the AI flyer. I wanted to ask something about Mitch McConnell when I was stuck on mute earlier. So people are vetting that photo. Turns out the photo is the exact same photo that was posted a few months ago. The addition to the photo is the newspaper. And I don't know what Elaine had done in China when she went, but her face does not look like the face on that photograph.
Neither does his.
No, they definitely de-aged in the photograph. So people are vetting the photograph. One guy ran it through AI verifiers, says that it was 86% AI free. So they did some tampering with the photo. That is not a current photo. We know that for a fact. It's one of the reasons why I just dismissed the whole thing, because it's gonna go like everything else goes. We can all see the emperor's not wearing clothing, and all of the evidence is on the table. People are playing in our faces, and there's nothing we can do about it. Not because it's inconsequential.
Right. But see, the problem that I have, and I believe Maria has as well, is that all the news outlets have picked up this BS story about, oh yes, Mitch. It's like that old joke about the cat is on the roof. It's like, what are y'all doing? They're not going to say that he has died until August 4th, which is when it's too late to hold an election to put somebody in his spot running. So.
But it just makes me so upset. I just give up because, if CNN is reporting that Pete Hegseth is now authorizing testosterone treatment for America's greatest warriors.
Not authorizing, mandating.
We're going to test your testosterone levels and give you the tea. If it's, okay. So that's what the CNN is reporting.
Well, but every news outlet is reporting because he did it. But the question becomes, why do you not have a physician on with this, with this reporting to talk to people about what exactly are the consequences of this treatment?
Exactly.
Anyway, let's try to get to Mike from Sarasota.
Yeah, Mike's been holding on quite a while.
Am I on?
You're on, Mike.
You're on,
okay,
Mike.
Great. Well, you stole my thunder because I thought of all shows in the world to ask this question. I was going to ask you your reaction to Pete Hegseth's announcement that testosterone treatments would be mandated for all, apparently, military officers. And I think maybe you've commented on that briefly. I was wondering if this could lead to some maybe new trend. If we feel that testosterone is important for military officers, maybe we should require estrogen counts for Congress people or other decision makers who are talking about family matters. Maybe this might lead to a new trend. Anyway, that was I just want to get your thoughts generally on this whole thing, and maybe we could even find some perhaps humorous or some other routes for continuing such testing.
Well, see, I find highly ironic that he's mandating testosterone treatment in military personnel, but they're all against trans folk taking hormones. Make sense.
Well, it is, of course, moronic and idiotic, and just reflective of the lack of intelligence of the whole Trump administration. So trying to make sense of it is a fool's errand.
We are being governed by unserious people.
Uneducated, unserious, unmotivated to do good for our country, but only for themselves.
Well, this is the kind of thing that plays well on Fox News and with the crowd that watches UFC and worldwide and pro wrestling, which unfortunately it appears to be a key demographic of the Trump administration.
Yeah,
but I will say this, that estrogen helps with cognitive ability in both men and women, and it explains something. I'll leave it there.
And then, okay, they're so worried about reproducing, and yet one of the risks of testosterone therapy is limiting sperm production. So it's like, did this former Fox News personality / heavy drinker, allegedly, did he even consult anybody? He just wants a bunch of roid raging dudes out on the field killing people. That's all he wants. I mean, it is the most ridiculous thing. I cannot even imagine that. And I mean, make it make sense, Maria.
Well, that is it is a strategy of the past, especially when you look right now at how intellectually and strategically Iran is dominating the United States approach, right? it's not a war of testosterone, if you will, and aggression. It is a strategic war with intellect and strategy.
Right.
And they may not have what may not be what we consider a superpower, but they have dominated the United States in ways that were not anticipated, perhaps because there's just too much testosterone in that room.
Right.
Another,
Hey, thanks for calling, Mike. We got another mic. This one, this new mic is from.
We have an ox on the phone.
No, I said that. I told that to Joe back home.
Okay.
Mike from Dover now. Mike from Dover. Hello.
Yeah, it's actually Jack from Dover.
Oh, you're still Jack from Dover. Okay. Jack from Dover.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Jack.
I talk to you guys.
Yeah, you call us every week.
Do I really? Oh, my goodness. Well, today I just wanted to kind of throw a couple of facts out there very, very quickly about Iran's gross domestic product. And it's currently worth what they're saying, $300.29 billion. But then it went down and it adjusted their purchasing power parity, their PPP, which reflects their local buying power. And they're estimating that to be $1.78 trillion, and that is 31% of the global economy. So when I see pictures of bombs exploding in people's neighborhoods and I see these lavish palaces that these people live in, it's just, I'm beginning to think that we're making a huge, huge mistake on a more global level. And
not only that, on a humanitarian level, the U.S. bombed a hospital the other day.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Donald Trump is looking more like, this gunslinger kind of a president that's out there doing his own thing. I still haven't heard anything about Congress enacting any kind of a war resolution or that we're at war. So, I mean, if we've got this gunslinger out there, floating our policy, I can't see where it's ever going to end well for us.
Well, it's not, and that's the point, is...
We need to declare war, but when we do, I can almost promise you that China and North Korea and some of the bigger allies that Iran has, and then all of their global economy partners, 31%. When corporations take over smaller companies in the United States, they purchase 21% of their stock. If you have 21% or higher, that means you have controlling interest in that company. Sometimes looked at as a hostile takeover. But their country has 31% of the global economy. That's a lot. That's their mines, that's their agriculture. That's the services that they provide for the rest of the world. That's something that really needs to be taken into consideration.
Okay, well, thanks for calling, Jack.
Oh, and then testosterone, I want to quickly say that if they harvest the testosterone out of women and then they put that into the military men, then at least they might start thinking a little bit more about what their goals are and their accomplishments instead of just having sex-driven testosterone driving them crazy while they're already crazy to begin with.
Okay, thanks so much for calling, Jack.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye. But one of the shocking things, there was a resolution about Israel and the United States joining forces to share military intelligence and all that kind of stuff, and ultimately did not pass. Maria, do you have any comments on that, or Donna?
How much time you got? First of all, I find it very concerning because when I was a freshman in high school, right, and I'm dating it because that is the bar for me with like how we operate. My high school Western Civ history teacher started class and made us write on the front of our notebooks, "Those who cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it." And I remember that to this day. This is a George Santayana quote. And I remember I use it to this day with a lot of things. And I'm a history buff enough to remember the Rosenbergs who spied for Israel and were executed for spying, right?
Right.
A different state. The idea, I think that it codifies a relationship that we already know exists. We already know that our police forces, who are a lot of whom are committing violence, have been trained by IDF soldiers. I believe that there is a unwritten relationship that causes harm to our communities, our societies, as a result of this relationship. To codify it and make it okay is not okay. At least it's not okay with me. I'm sure
And Donna, I know you got something to say.
I don't.
Oh, she passes.
I do not.
But yeah, it's, I mean, it make sense. Again, it's like we're living in the upside down pretty much.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because of our money in politics. It literally
Right.
is. It is what these oligarchs want. I hate using that word, but this is what they want.
Right.
I'm going to say this before we go to Kristen Clearwater. I think that my thinking is money in politics is absolutely a problem. And
Oh, yeah.
I would deny that no more than I would deny the consequences of pretending that Mitch McConnell is still a functioning human. However, if we can do two things about that, we need to figure out who we can send to Washington. Half of Democrats voted to stop sending money to Israel. That's a long way from where we were in 2017, when literally nobody thought that the BDS movement, people were losing their careers. They were dismissed from liberal arts universities for having something to say about Israel's role in American politics and the AIPAC lobby. You couldn't even talk about this stuff unless you were prepared to surrender your credentials.
Right.
No, I don't mean that literally.
No, it's true. It's true. And now it is anything that you say that supports the Palestinian people.
Yes. So, but that's movement. There hadn't been movement for 50 years before that. So I think that those of us who were wearing keffiyehs in 2015, those of us who celebrated the Nakba, are owed some gratitude by those who are now joining late because it's safe to do so.
Right.
And I have a long memory, and it probably doesn't work in my doesn't work to my advantage usually in matters like this. But my thinking is that one of the reasons people listen to Surly Voices is because we don't can our messaging. We go wherever the evidence takes us. So that's when we say, I'm looking at this and I think it takes us over there. I think Tim Walz is going to be the nominee. No one's talking about Tim Walz the way no one was talking about BDS. And so Tim Walz became the nominee. for Kamala Harris. This was before we said we had a lineup. We had Josh Shapiro. We had 3 or 4 people, but Waltz wasn't in the conversation when we brought it up. This was months before. This was like in the winter time. So the reason why we get it right is because we're not taking our cues from mainstream media so much. Our talking points, like I watch some of the famous bloggers on YouTube, and what's the one where you write, the writing one, and they pretty much all say the same stuff because they sit down and they watch an amalgam of all of the different people talking, and then they come up with something that sounds similar to it, maybe with a little spin on it. We don't do it. It's like when we were a respiratory therapy student and they said, ventilate this patient. And then one group tried to use the stuff that they gave them to ventilate the patient. And my group was full of autists and ADHDers and neurodivergents. We threw away the formula and did it from scratch. We were the ones who got it right. So I'm going to say that Surly Voices is that group of people who gets it right because we don't take our cues from social media or the talking heads in the blogosphere. We don't do that. So sometimes when I dismiss something, be ready to hang. Okay, got it. When I dismiss something, it's not because I don't think it matters. It's because people have bought what's being sold about what they're saying. And I'm going to tell you that picture ain't real. And you guys can do what you want to do with that information because I don't have the kind of platform to really, because Hassan Piker could, these people could do it. You have to ask that not only are people like him not doing it. Well, I haven't watched him lately, to be honest, because to me, 8 hours of you just yamming doesn't help me.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Okay, doesn't help me at all.
Right.
It's just like at that point, it's just like verbal masturbation. 8 hours a day of you talking.
Right.
Who listens to that? Kids listen to it while they're
Right.
Lonely, that demographic.
Yeah.
Lonely men.
Because my son was one of them. Oh, I hope he's not listening. But I mean, that's all I got to say. I don't want to ramble, but I just want to say that what makes us unique is that we're not afraid to go off the beaten path and say what we think we're seeing. And that's why our accuracy rate and our prognostication services are so accurate, is because of that. I don't care what people are saying. I'm going to look at it like people did 50 years ago, and I'm going to tell you what I saw like the grandparents did. That's it.
Yes. And the opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF. So now let's go on to Chris in Clearwater. Hey, Chris.
Good morning, ladies. Hi. Yeah.
How are you?
BDS. It's so gratifying. It is gratifying to see folks catching on now and seeing that as a very viable option. And I just saw yesterday, Tampa Bay Times posted an article entitled "Residents Ask Hillsborough to Stop Funding Israeli Business Nonprofit." The Florida Israeli Business Accelerator has helped nearly a dozen Israeli businesses open offices in Hillsborough County, by Lizzie Alspach in the Tampa Bay Times, as I said. And it quotes a Matthew Levine in the article. It's a very short article, very short quote here, that he says general funds as defined by the county is to fund services for Hillsborough County residents. It's helping for-profit companies from a foreign country, a country that is committing genocide, end quote. Of course, I point out that it's the Greater Israel Project on the Facebook post on Tampa Bay Times article that Netanyahu and the Likud party, of which he's a part, just wants to admittedly take over large swaths of other countries and whole countries. So I'd encourage folks to check that out. I didn't know about that topic or that issue until I read it in the Times yesterday. And on Pete Hegseth, I don't know if he's wants to warn us about the risk of testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, that causes, because, of course, testes are to produce testosterone, you inject it and they shrink. So I hope he warns folks about that. And maybe options like Tribulus terrestris is a good herb that I take just for motivation that helps boost, that's shown very well to boost testosterone, and several other herbs too. But, I wonder if Hegseth, even though he says that the testing for testosterone is mandatory, but the TRT would be optional, I don't know if he'd want to change his mind like he did in April when he lifted the mandate on flu shots and then mandated them 2 months later.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's coming. It's just he's all about, guinea pigs. He's got a big, huge pile of guinea pigs, and he's going to test out all his half-baked theories on them. All right. Thanks for calling, Chris.
The military. I'm glad we get to warn folks here in the CENTCOM broadcast area. And, to balance hormones, just check out DIM, which is a part of cruciferous vegetables like broccoli. The supplement DIM can help balance hormones. And, when you're messing with your hormones, you might induce estrogen-induced cancers like of the breast, prostate, pancreatic, endometrial, which is uterine or ovarian, colorectal, lung, liver, kidney.
I thought there's research on that now. There's new research out, which is why everybody's still getting in on the action here.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for calling, Chris.
We can have somebody come on and talk about that. I don't think that
I think that'd be a great idea.
And wing it on the hormone stuff. Like, we got to get a doctor in here. And even if a real
endocrinologist.
Exactly. We can't just be, that's crazy. Like, I don't want. Okay, so since we're talking about what we can talk about, we're not going to recommend or not recommend testosterone or estrogen treatment. However, we will talk about RFK and the memo that, Liz, take it away. I know you're all in it. Go. I just want to talk about it. Anybody talk about it? Okay.
I'll give it to Maria so I can stop laughing.
No.
Maria, no.
No. This is your baby.
Okay.
Let me pull up my resource so I don't misquote anybody.
So it was okay. I'm gonna start with the overview. Okay, while you do that. Okay, so guys, for a long time, this thing with talc being harmful and being carcinogenic was being litigated against primarily Johnson & Johnson. Right? Okay. So the day before they were supposed to go in court, right? I don't know if it was the day before the verdict, or I don't want to misrepresent this case. But what had happened was the memo that no one seems to know where it came from came out saying that talc did not cause cancer. And in court, an expert was on the stand giving expert testimony about the carcinogenic nature of talc and how it caused people to have these primarily ovarian and other cancers. And the cross-examiner said, do you know that recommendation, advisement, what have you, was changed yesterday or this morning? And the expert answered, I didn't know that. And he was like, yes. And so Johnson & Johnson was saved from a hefty they were
multi-billion-dollar lawsuit.
Class action lawsuits that had been being lined up for years. So all the people who signed up and said, yes, this thing gave me ovarian cancer, is a very serious cancer.
Yeah. And the research is large that there is a connection.
Okay.
And so, this is what you get. You get when your Secretary of Health is
But this
Swims in sewage water.
The problem with this also, the lack of integrity with it. The problem is that before this man got hooked up with this administration, he was on the side of the victims.
Yeah.
Right.
He was on
an
the side of the
environmental
victims.
lawyer.
He created a whole environmental law space where he advocated for victims.
But you know what, y'all? I don't think that he sent the memo. I think that somebody did him up because either two things can be true here. Allegedly, the views of our views do not necessarily represent the views of WMNF. I just need to say that and very quickly. But I think somebody got it because he's a clown. And because people would believe that because too many times he's said something and didn't know the science because he lives in the blogosphere. That's why I warn people against that. That's how people end up taking soursop for leukemia.
Yes.
That's how it happens, folks.
But there was another ruling by this administration that said that you can no longer sue Monsanto for Roundup.
What?
Monsanto is now protected, and you can no longer sue Monsanto if you are. And there was a very public case here of a woman who worked for a landscaping company. She happened to be working on the crew that took care of my house, and I refused to have Monsanto sprayed in my around my house. But she died of lymphoma as a result of as a result of Roundup. But we are no longer allowed, as of I think 10 days ago.
Oh wow.
We are no longer, Monsanto is now protected from lawsuits.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when hypercapitalism takes over your country. And you can't sue for injuries that you have because the companies have bought off the government.
And you know what? I know we complain about society being litigious, but
well, I don't complain about it because that's how
my air conditioner is out, and I just saw a message come across the screen that said they're trying to call me, and I wanted to ditch y'all for a second because it's 90 degrees today after Friday. But I wanted to say that actually I kept all the windows closed, so it's actually stayed cool in here with the ceiling fans. So listen, what I wanted to say about that was we were reading yesterday. People talk about society being litigious. But it keeps these companies on their P's and Q's because they don't want a lawsuit. When we pull that back, as we see with police, right? And we read about this article in the Tampa Bay Times yesterday, how Deanna and Andrew Joseph fought all these years for their beloved 14-year-old son that they never got to see grow up. One of the most horrible things any human being with children, or even if you don't have children, can think of as a parent, because we understand that attachment. We're all somebody's child, right?
Right.
So even if we don't have kids, we get that sacred bond. So just to have your child snatched from you that way, then spend 10 years of your life fighting for justice, only to obtain said justice and to have an award of $15 million, and then have the state turn around and say, oh, you know what? We're going to limit liability for these municipal agencies to $200,000. It costs them more than $200,000 in defense dollars. And so when we start, so we see this with the police, qualified immunities, which is what Andrew Joseph, rest in peace, fought for all those years, gave his literal life to, because there's no way you can tell me there isn't a connection between a 55-year-old premature demise and all of the things that happened to this man in his short life. So what I will say is people are giving up a lot to pursue these cases. The Johnson & Johnson folks, those law firms are out so many millions of dollars of what it cost them. They figured they would recoup their losses. They had a chance. They didn't have a chance when it's dishonest. And so all I'm saying is that you guys don't want people to be able to sue. But that's why we have building codes, right? This is not,
right.
You go somewhere in India or in China and people are just allowed to build anything and you see entire buildings falling down. We don't have that in the United States. And the reason is we take building codes in most instances, there are those, seriously. And so your house isn't going to fall down. This house has been standing since 1956. And it's not a brick hasn't come out of it because building code, guys. So lawsuits make people comply with standards. It happens when Dr. Cole has a license, Liz has a jurisprudence doctorate. They have to meet standards to maintain those credentials. And we have it that way for a reason.
And that's why anytime police brutality and shooting innocent folks comes up, I always rail about how every other profession is regulated and overseen by a formal body except police.
Yeah, remember that lady, Dr. whatever her name was, that was trying to pass herself off as a therapist, and the Black community rightfully tore her to shreds.
Yep.
Because you're not going to do that, ma'am. We have standards, and you're creating harm when you get outside of the professional standard. It's one of the few things, and it's being dismantled right now by our government, which is why the Secretary of Defense is talking about men's testicles.
Right.
So, look.
Oh, finally Bianca comes. Hello, Bianca. Yay! Welcome back! Oh my gosh, we are
y'all.
Excited to have
Look at you
back.
looking like new money on this radio.
Yeah, I think she got her teddy bear outfit on.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, and you must be like,
you have to come back again.
Yeah.
So you guys, really quickly, I'm gonna do the bio, Liz, and I'll let you have it. Okay. I want to let callers know who we've been graced with this morning. Sister Bianca Goolsby. And I am going to share her bio with you guys, okay? Bianca Goolsby, MBA, with your bad self, is an award-winning digital strategist, educational activist, and founder of Teaching for the Culture, which came to fame, I'm ad-libbing, stay with me, came to fame several years ago when she exposed the shenanigans of the school board and various bad actors in Tampa. And famously, and maybe not so famously, Bianca and a close acquaintance, close person in her life were targeted, who shall not be named, was targeted as a consequence of that expose, because that means that her research game is so tight that we're going to have her, I got you, we're going to have her on again so that she can regale you with the fullness of her talent. With it was a multimedia platform revolutionizing how families, educators, and communities engage with education, policy, and digital safety. With nearly a decade of experience at the intersection of MarTech and mission-driven advocacy, Bianca has become a trusted voice for accountability, transparency, and integrity in education and systems across the nation. Next week, we're going to give you the full-scale thing. So we're going to have you come back so you did not lose your space.
Right. And yeah, some of our longtime listeners, because we've been on almost 10 years now. It's amazing how time flies. Yeah.
But real quick,
Bianca,
tell us what you think about Mitch McConnell.
Yes, I was dying for you to get here to tell us about the Mitch McConnell proof of life.
You got, girl.
I think we need better receipts. It's so interesting how we pick and choose the quality of receipts. Can we just get a live camera? Can we get some action? Can we really get something to prove? Because the math ain't mathing right now, and people are scared, and people don't know what's happening. So why don't we go to the source? Why don't the source really show up and show us for real?
Right. What I said, because when I'm all about the comments. So I was in somebody's comments and I'm like, great, he's awake. perfect time for Don Lemon to go over with a camera and interview him.
You know, Don Lemon ain't gonna get within 100 feet of that hospital sliding door.
B, what did you think about the photograph itself? Did you think it was AI generated or no?
That's hard to tell, and it's getting harder to tell what is AI generated or not. And so that is a very, very scary topic just to deal with, because we don't know what's real or not real nowadays, and that's a very scary place to be in.
Well, I want you to go and look and see, because they're saying that photograph is an old photograph that has been doctored, that's come back on 5 different AI. I will look for the video because it's a very popular YouTuber, and I'll send it to you and you can take it from there. I want to go back to Maria because we got like 1 minute, but I want to go back to Maria and I want to hear about, I don't want to be dismissive of my comrades here, about things that we should be thinking about over this next week that we can cover next week that I might have been dismissive of, that we need to be paying attention to because of the consequences.
I don't know that you've been dismissive, but I do want to say this about, I don't know anybody who recovers from being unconscious and then de-ages by 10 years. Because if you look at recent photos of him in the Capitol and that proof of life photo, it looks like he's like all of the hyperpigmentation in his face and things like that have all disappeared. But the things to be on the lookout, July 20th is the last day to register to vote in this primary. It is also the last day to register as a partisan, because in Florida we have closed primaries. So you either need to register as a Republican or a Democrat to choose your candidate for November. So it is absolutely imperative that people register to vote if they're not registered. And they register as a party affiliation. Don't worry, hold your nose, change back to independent NPA after August 18th. But in order to vote in the August 18th primary, you need to be registered to vote and you need to be party affiliated.
Check your registration. I don't care if you're a super voter. Verify that you're still on the rolls, guys.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm one of them people that's going to have to hold their nose and go change my party affiliation to vote.
Very sad, very sad.
But, you do what you got to do. I can change back as soon as I vote. All right, well, I can't see Frank giving us the finger, but I'm sure he's getting close.
It's 10:58, so...
Yeah, so next week we're going to have Bianca back, and we're going to dig in deeper into. Bianca's going to take us deeper into the realities of the proof that we don't have, proof of life issue, and Dr. Cole is going to help us with understanding the landscape for the midterms and the Florida primaries.
And I just want to make the point that proof of life photo and all these 20-minute conversations coming out didn't happen until the live video of the EMTs putting him in the ambulance with no sirens happened.
They said the call was cardiac arrest and not heart attack.
Yeah, and CPR was in progress. And send a supervisor.
And you only have CPR if you're not breathing.
Right. And the chances of somebody 80 some odd years old, for anybody really, but for particularly elderly, for coming back are minuscule. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. And thank you, Joe, and thank you, Frank, for giving us our first total virtual program. Thank you.
Thank you.
I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving wrong. I do what they say I can't. They call me Cardi, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter